Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am so excited to have Mary. I like to call you the Earth Angel, Mary.
Thank you. I like that. I will take that.
Yeah. So your channel is Glimpsing Beyond, and I'm going to definitely make sure I have all your links below. And before we get started, I want to kind of talk a little bit about your new shirts that you
Thank
have.
you.
Is this one of them?
No, this is actually Liz Oliver.
Yes.
I buy all her shirts.
We love Liz.
Yeah, we love Liz. All the rest of them are like behind my screen. Holy crap. I got to do a reveal one of these days. I just haven't got to it. And I worked retail forever, and now the dye is starting to really bug me. So of course I sit in the room with all the dye. Why
Oh
wouldn't
yeah.
I? Why wouldn't I? Yeah.
So your shirt,
Yes.
do you want
They're
to talk?
called, yeah, they're called the Glimpsers. My husband's super thrilled he came up with the name for all our fans of Glimpse and Beyond.
I love
So
that.
they asked for t-shirts. So I got some V-necks and some crew necks, and they've been selling pretty good.
You guys
So
like broke the internet, right? When you launched them?
yes, yes. I launched them and our website provider went down. They couldn't fix it for like 2 days. They had no idea what we did.
Oh my goodness.
The poor guy's like asking me questions, and I'm like, I'm the least technical person you're gonna find. I
Wow.
have no idea what I did. I did what you guys told me to do in the video.
I'm the same way. It's like when it's technical stuff, I'm like, just don't know. I
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's been a process so far. My poor husband's getting to know the post office really well. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
wanted to hand package them. I never thought I'd merchandise anything, but people were asking. So I was like, all right, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I love it. When I used
And
to have my store, I remember like every day I would be at the post office. I got
yes,
to know them really well. It was great.
yes,
They'd
yes.
always be like, "Where are we shipping to today?"
Right, right. And one of our viewers, I think she'll probably be on your channel too, KB Warrior of the Light. She actually designed my logo for that shirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which was really nice. So I'm like, this is fantastic. If they sell out or something, I'm gonna have to totally find a different way to do it, but we'll figure it out.
I love it. Oh, sweet. Well, yeah, I'll definitely have the links below so people can check that out as well.
Perfect.
So we are the day of, I don't know, okay, we're not going to say what's happening in the States. We all know what's happening in the States right now.
Yes, it's November 8th, you guys. Think
Yeah.
about it. Okay.
And we're also on the blood moon total lunar eclipse in Taurus.
Of course we are.
How are you feeling?
I have been up since 4 o'clock this morning, and the whole night I couldn't sleep, and the night lasted forever, forever.
We were talking about that kind of before we started
Yeah.
recording, and I was like, yeah, the same thing. For I was exhausted. I still am. I actually have my my AO scanner is playing like energy stuff right
Oh,
now,
good.
because I'm just like,
Yes.
if you guys hear weird noises, that's what that is. um I went to sleep super early,
Yeah.
woke up in the middle of the night, and it was like I thought it was morning. Nope, middle
Right.
of the night. I was wide awake, and then did a meditation to help me go back to sleep. But by the time I woke up in the morning, it's like, what time is it? Like it was so long. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just been nuts, and everybody, we have been working so much at night, like in our dreams. And I was just like, holy crap. Okay, where am I? Why is it lasting forever? Forever.
yeah. And waking up like I'm sore when I wake up. I'm just
Yes.
like exhausted and like thirsty. I cannot get
Give me
enough
water.
water.
Uh-huh. Literal. I'm like, I've been through like 3 of these today. I just am like, what?
Yeah. I find even sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like, like
Yes, I need water. Give me water. Yeah. Yep.
oh, it's so crazy. But I did a video, and it's so weird because I had it to upload this morning at like 10:10, and for some reason it uploaded in the middle of the night. So I'm
Because
like,
why
okay,
wouldn't it?
I
All
guess
right. It would,
that's
the universe wanted it then.
yeah, I'm like, okay, I guess that's when you wanted it to, like, I'll just go with
Yep.
the flow.
Yep. That's what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah. So it's definitely, I'm a Taurus sun, so I'm feeling this.
I was like, oh my God, you're right in the heart of it, you poor thing. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo and I have no idea where I rise or anything, but like this one's not affecting me as much as
Okay.
full moons normally do.
Yeah. Well, that's good then.
I know, I'm kind of thrilled over that, except for like the nights lasting forever part. That can end like today. I'd be
Yeah,
super happy to sleep tonight. That would be great.
for sure. I hope you get some 4 o'clock. That's like,
Oh,
that's not, that's not
well,
enough.
and like my poor husband, he decided to sub at work this week because he misses people. And I'm like, well, go
Right.
ahead. But like he got up at 5:30 and I had just got to sleep. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, no, 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 I can't.
Like, you're retired. And he's like, I'm working this
Yeah,
week. And I'm like, but no.
retired, but still going back to work.
Well, he's bored and he's like, they need people so bad. They need
Yeah.
people at his workplace. Like they have no one and everyone's retiring or quitting. So they're like, will you sub? And he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
And
that's nice
how
of them.
are you guys still having really nice weather there?
Um, kind of like today it's high is 45, but yesterday was 72 and tomorrow's going to be 67.
So like all over the place, kind of.
Right. And it's super sunny. It's beautiful. I saw the moon. This time I
You
saw the moon.
did.
Yay. I saw the moon. It was fantastic.
I was hoping you'd be able to see it this time.
Right. I'm like, I think I willed it into existence. Like, come to
Yeah.
me. Like, just show yourself to me just
Oh,
this once.
I love it. How are your allergies today? I saw your video from yesterday. I didn't catch the live, but I saw it after.
Thank you. They're horrible, but it's my own fault because all the shirts are behind the screen. And I
Yeah.
worked retail forever and I should know enough about dye, but of course
Yeah.
the dye aggravates me. But I'm like, whatever, there's nowhere else I can put them. So I'm here.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, I meant to message in your things a
Yeah,
few things. If you're looking for any things like nettle tea, if you drink tea,
I have
nettle,
tried nettle tea. Yep. Yep.
nettle's a good one. And then quercetin, people say it differently, and vitamin C are good ones for like allergies.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right. I might
Yeah.
try that.
Yeah, and then essential oil, I make a blend. So if you've got like lemon, peppermint, and lavender, you just do like equal parts of that one.
No, I've never tried that. I'll have to
Those
try.
ones help really
All
good.
right.
So yeah,
No, that'd be fantastic because like I know it's wrong, but like I pop a Benadryl.
you do what you got to do.
I
Like,
gotta I gotta dry up somehow. Like my
yeah,
eyes are flowing. I'm just like, come on.
yeah. My mom has allergies so bad. So that's why I'm always like, okay, what can I do to help her? Because hers are like, we've got animals. And when she comes to our
Yep.
house, it's like instant.
That's
She
me
can't
with
breathe.
dogs. And the dogs love
Yeah,
me. Any dog loves me and they come right to me and I love
right.
them.
Of course.
I'm like, whatever. I'm like, come on. And I let them lick me and everybody's like, but you're allergic to them. And I'm like, but they're animals and they love
Yeah.
me. Like, I don't care. I'll sneeze and cough. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention too is animals, well, kids and animals. Like I always say, make sure you're checking in on your kids and animals
Yes.
because they're obviously going through this too. My dog, for some reason, is shedding like crazy,
Yes.
and we're in full-blown winter.
Our cat is, but I think it's because we're not in full blown winter and we should be.
That's so weird.
It's
Like
so
I'm like
weird. Yeah.
every day my girls are like picking off clumps like all over the
Yes.
house, and I'm like, we're in winter. What are you doing shedding? You're supposed to be
Yes.
building that up.
Right. And it's like I'm afraid the cat's gonna freeze because he sheds, then he grows back fur, and then all of a sudden it's 70 again and it's not winter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have no idea. And he wants the window open all the time. And I'm like, not today.
Not today. Yeah. So I wanted to get to know Mary a little bit more because you have such an amazing story. I was talking a little bit before, like my heart is with kids. That's why I say, check in
Yep.
on your kids. Um, I have 3 beautiful star seeds, and I just feel like a lot of us, not just saying me, but like a lot of
Yeah.
people, things were stifled for us, or things were like we weren't allowed to talk about, we weren't allowed
Yep.
to explore. A lot of people, were told, oh, that's just your imagination, fairies aren't real,
Yeah.
unicorns aren't real. You're just, you're not actually seeing something there when you like, we've talked about that where my
Yeah.
daughter's like she had friends that she played with that were spirits.
Oh my God. I love my spirit friends. They were like the greatest
Yeah,
people.
I
They
know.
were
So I
fantastic.
would love to hear a little bit more about your childhood and how things came to be for you.
Well, it kind of started in the astral because I'm one of the very few that remember jumping here.
Oh,
And I jumped with a girl who I don't know where she is, but it's super weird that I was a twin and my mom miscarried. my twin,
Mhm.
but I don't think it was her.
Okay.
And like, I just don't think it was her. So I'm like, I have no idea where this other girl went, but I'm like, all right. Yeah. And I remember picking out my parents, and literally the reason I picked them is because of the Kennedys.
Oh,
And I have no idea why. Like, I just saw my parents walking down the street, like on a date, and I was like, oh, all right, something about them. And my mom loved JFK, but like,
yeah.
really? All right. That's why.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And I used to, when my brother and I are like Irish twins, we're only like, I think we're 15 months, 14 or 15 months apart. We're not that far apart.
yeah.
So we used to, I didn't know at the time, but it was probably what people would consider light language.
Yeah.
We would just talk it in our cribs to each other, and it would drive everybody insane because they couldn't understand what we were saying. And we'd look at them and we're like, what do you mean? We got it. Like, what do you, all right, we're good.
Yeah. I love that you brought that up because I really think that most kids are speaking like light
Yeah.
language, their ancient language, and we just like kind of brush it off as like baby talk or gibberish or whatever. And
No,
it's
they're
like
totally talking to you. They're
they're
totally
totally
talking to you.
they don't,
Our,
and you can tell like if you really like with if you're really connecting, you can tell that they
yes.
are literally interacting with you.
Oh, totally, totally.
Yeah.
I've seen that with our nephew and like our great nephew. And our niece is like, I don't understand how you guys tired him out. I'm like, we sat and we talked, and he
Yeah.
played with a water bottle. And she's like, he's 9 months old. He doesn't talk. I'm like, he has so much to say.
So much to say. My middle daughter Sage was she could speak, but she just
Yep.
really chose, and she has these beautiful big eyes, and she would
Yeah.
always just like stare at you, and people would be like, she'd be like 3 and people are like, why is she not talking? And I'm like, oh well, she is. I'm like,
Yeah.
clearly just tap in for a second and you can tell she's
Yeah.
communicating with
Like
you.
listen to her with your mind. You'll totally get it. Yeah.
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 So you grew up, yeah, I want to, where did you grow up? Because I love this.
Well, my parents bought our house where I grew up. And then, like a year later, my dad joined the National Guard so he wouldn't get drafted to go to Vietnam.
Oh yeah,
But he
okay.
had flat feet. So I never understood the whole story. It never made sense to me, much like a lot of things. I'm just like, whatever. All right. So he didn't go. He got in an automobile accident while he was on guard duty.
Oh,
And he was in one of the trucks that is like open in the back. And he flew out of the truck and broke his back.
oh my goodness.
And here's my poor mother with like, a 1 year old and a 2 year old.
Oh
And she didn't
wow.
drive because, it was the 60s. So we moved to Grammys. My dad's mom and dad lived in Wilson, which is like 90 minutes away from us. So we kind of grew up there for the next years, and they lived in an old funeral home, which was fantastic. We had so much fun. We had such a great childhood.
Oh, so you were like surrounded by spirits,
Oh my
right?
God. Yes, yes, yes. And my mom would be my mom always was sensitive. So she knew when stuff was around. And
Okay.
my Grammy, my dad's mom, was kind of the same way. So she'd be like, don't be afraid. And I'm like, I'm not afraid.
So
And my brother wasn't. He would like try and pick on me and edge. He would egg on some of the spirits sometimes, but the spirits were super nice.
mhm. Did
So
he also like, was he also able to connect with them?
he was, but he doesn't remember any of it.
Okay. Yeah.
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 So and my mom was always like, I don't, as we got older and could talk more, she's like, I'll talk to you about it and we're going to go through stuff, but don't ever talk about it out there in the world because people will think you're crazy.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Is that I think a lot of people, even now, it's kind
Yeah.
of like it's just starting to be more,
More
talked about,
mainstream. Yep.
mainstream. Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you remember like some early times of being able to connect with spirits or what that was like for you?
Well, yeah, it was super fun. One of my earliest memories, and people are, it's okay. I always won, but I was protected. Don't worry about it. I don't know why. I've just always known I've been so protected. So they used to come in, usually when we were in cribs, but our cribs faced each other, my brother and I. So we would just play, and we would literally float above our beds. It was like the greatest game ever.
I love it.
Yeah, and they were very careful in putting us up and down, but they were super, super great spirits. I mean, they had, and that, I would ask them in whatever language we were talking,
Mhm.
because like I was 1 or 2, and they would be like, oh, we were laid out here. And I questioned that. I'm like, laid out. And they're like, oh, this used to be a funeral home. And I'm like, what does that mean? Because I didn't know. And they're like, oh,
Right. Okay.
it's a big thing. And I'm like, why is it a big thing? Hence my theory of why I why everything. My poor mother was like, because I said so, because I would why everything.
Yeah.
They're like that's just a custom and we're not going to hurt you or anything. So I'm like, that's fantastic. Oh, we would play ball, we would play catch. My poor grandma, she would come up and she's like, stop playing the organ. And I'm like, we're in the living room, Granny, we're in the living room.
Oh, yeah.
So then she'd go into whoever was playing the organ, I don't know, she'd be like, stop playing the organ.
Oh, I love that you were able to like embrace all of that. And
Yeah,
was there ever a time in your life that you kind of blocked it out, or have you always been like open to?
I've always been very open, but there were times that I've had to block it out. Like I had to. Um, so one of them was when I was in the funeral home, like one dark entity tried to come in,
Mhm, mhm.
scared the crap out of both of us. So you have 2 kids screaming in the middle of the night. So Grammy took my brother. My mom kind of came to me and I'm just like, I have no idea. And I like described it to her and she's like, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
She's like, just say you're not allowed here.
Mm.
She's like, twist the energy, just twist it. She's like, you're okay. Calm down. Call in your friends, ask them to get it out.
Oh, that's so.
She's like, ask God and just
Yeah.
put yourself in a protective bubble. You're always protected.
So
And
you
angels would
grew,
even come and tell me I was always protected. So I'm like, all right. So I've always felt protected.
yeah. So your mom literally like she knew how to like
Yes.
teach you about the protection. That is amazing.
And I have no idea where she learned it, and she doesn't know either.
Oh,
She's
I was
like,
just
I
gonna,
was
that was
born
my
that
next
way.
question. I was like, so how did she learn
She's
it?
like, I was born that way. She always said that her dad was Indian,
Okay.
but her dad was adopted by German people. So they had like a German last name. So I never understood it, but I loved my grandpa on her side as much as I did my papa on my dad's side. And he was very American Indian. So I'm wondering if it came through there.
Yeah, great spirit. Like just
Yeah, because
channeling
she just
that into
knew.
her.
She just knew like to send it off and surround yourself with love. She's like, you're all protected, you're in a bubble. And that's how I've always known about the bubble of protection. And now to hear people speak of it, I'm like, holy crap. Okay, yay.
You're like, that's what I've always done.
Yes. And I kind of grew up doing that. Even throughout grade school, I was very connected to
Mhm.
spirits. Like I could see them outside and stuff.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you what school was like for you. Would you have to kind of be like, okay, people, I'm at school now, or
Yeah, it's kind of that's when I started to learn boundaries because, like, well, yes and no. My first couple of years in school, of course, I got great grades, but like, oh my God, she talks so much.
Mhm.
My parents are like, who are you talking to? Because I didn't have friends. They were like coming out. I'm like, my friends.
Mhm.
And they're like real friends. And I'm like, no, like they're my real friends, but they're not in class, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So they were like, okay, we got to curb this. And of course, my dad, to this day, he still doesn't really believe.
Oh, okay.
No matter what I tell him, he doesn't believe. No
Yeah.
matter what my mom told him before she died. So yeah, I have that going on. But yeah, my mom always believed me. So she was just like,
Mhm.
we got to put up boundaries. She's like, just tell them that they can come and play after school. So I was
Good,
like,
right.
all right. So I kind of blocked it there. But because I had such good grades and I was after I sent the friends packing, of course, you're considered antisocial because you don't talk because you got in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
In 3rd grade or 4th grade, I forget which grade, you got to take the IQ test. You fill in the little dots. My IQ was off the charts.
I bet it was.
So, of course, people from the school system came to get my parents and say, hey, I think we should move her up a few grades. Like, let's put her in the special program. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want that.
No, my mom was like, my dad was all for it. My dad's so, oh, education, government, he believes everything. Yeah,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
My mom was like, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
She can't do that. She already started school. I started school at 4.
Oh, okay.
And while I liked school, I more liked the people
Mhm.
because a lot of stuff that I was taught, I'm just thinking, well, whatever.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, okay, I liked reading. All right, this is fun.
Yeah. Yeah. The only part of school I liked was like the socialization.
Yes, yes. And like
There's
even
so
in,
much stuff that I just didn't resonate with. I was always like,
right,
oh,
right. That was me more in high school. I would literally just leave school,
yeah.
write my own note. I'm like, I'm out. Sorry, peace out. Love
Yeah.
you.
I love it.
Right.
Wrote your own note.
I really did. And my mama would always know. She would always know.
Be
She's
like,
like, what'd you do today? And I'm like, nothing. She's like, what'd you really do? I said, wrote a note and got out of school. She's like, all right.
I
She's like,
love
I could call anytime and no. And I'm like, I honestly believe my mom when she's like, I got eyes on the back of my head and I could see what you
it.
guys are doing. She could. I've
Mm-hmm.
never
That's the
doubted it.
thing. I feel like as soon as you become a mama, it's like those
Yes.
eyes just open up.
Yes. You got the eyes in the back of your head. You know from their cry what they're up to. You know who instigated it. You know when
Yeah.
they're lying to you.
Yeah.
And I
I love
never lied about anything because my mom always had me so
you
paranoid.
do. Yeah.
She's like, don't ever lie because you got to remember 9,000 stories and it'll never come out right. And I will know you're lying. And I'm like, all right,
There you go.
fair,
There you go.
fair.
You're like, okay. So true.
Yeah,
Once you
yeah.
start the lies, it's just like it
It
is
just
brilliant. Yeah.
snowballs. It really snowballs. It does. But I did it all my whole youth, even in high school. I told my poor mom, my grandpa got really sick and he had a stroke and he ended up dying, I think, of AIDS from a blood transfusion. He had bone cancer. And my mom went to visit him. It was like her first time going to Florida alone. And I only remember because my dad set the house on fire with the oven because he doesn't cook. It was fun.
Oh my goodness.
My poor mother. Oven up and smoke, the kids out with the firefighters. We were fantastic. We ate out the rest of the time. We were good.
Oh my goodness. Your mom was probably just like, I'm never leaving again.
Yes, that's basically what she did when she came home. She's like, oh, holy hell. And she decided just to get on the phone and order appliances from then on in. Like, don't ever touch them.
Yeah, you're not allowed. Oh my goodness.
So I was like, yeah, it was great. But I like the night that my grandpa died, I literally was dreaming and they were showing me everything. Like I was in the hospital room with them and I could see the clock and who was with them. And he's like, tell your mom that I'm okay, that I got to go. He's like, I love you. And I'm like, I love you too. I'm all right. I could see the time the hospital called my grandma to tell her and the time that she called my mom.
Wow.
And it all started, I think it was like between 2 and 3 o'clock that everything was starting. I woke up at like 2. So I went downstairs and woke my mom up and told her everything. And I'm like, I'm sorry. She's like, don't be sorry. She's like, go back to bed. So when I woke up the next morning, she's like, holy crap. And I'm like, what? She's like, sit down. So I thought I was in trouble. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Right.
She's
Yeah.
like, how did you know all that? I'm like, how do you think I knew all that? She's like,
Yeah.
no, for real. And I'm like, for real. Like it
That's
came to
what
me.
happened.
She's like, oh my God, you're still doing it. And I was like, yeah, because I was probably like 12 at that time.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. She's like, don't talk about it to anybody. Like, don't let anyone know this story.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah.
You brought up a really good part too about school because I have such a the way that society has labeled kids now and they test them for all these things. They
Yes.
put them in these these boxes, and if they don't fit in these boxes and they have something wrong with them. And you bringing that up, I just feel like is such a great thing for people to hear about because I truly believe that most of the kids that are labeled, I don't know what we can say on here, but like, can we say so? Like,
Like hyper, you can say.
yeah, like,
Yes.
like the things that they label kids
Talkative,
as.
yes, and label kids with. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like most of those kids are either on a higher vibration.
they are. Yeah.
They're like yourself, where they're literally like connecting and communicating with other beings, whether it be like angels or star
Yes.
family or those
Yes.
who have passed over. And a lot of them are, I'll see kids like, because I work at the naturopath office, and there'll be kids that come in and, they're labeled as like
Yep.
spacey, or they talk a lot, or they don't
Yep.
talk at all, or,
Right.
all different types of things. And I just truly believe that these are like special star seeds that the 3D is really hard for them to be
Like
in.
right now, literally, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So yes, you have verification. Yes, that's exactly what's happening. It's like we think we're brave because we decided to be here for this time. Like they're double brave because like they had no idea
Yeah.
that
Oh,
this
you're
was
giving
going to
me
be their
chills.
experience. They're like, oh, hey, here, now you're here. And like people are supposed to be more accepting. And hey, there
I
you
know.
go. Just sit over there and be quiet.
Right. And then they want to put them on like medication.
Yes, of course they do. And I have nieces and nephews that have been put on said medication, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, stop it.
I
Just stop. Let them
know.
be a kid. Like literally they're medicating them because they're being kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I know my nephew was one that they labeled that, and thank goodness that my brother and sister-in-law are very much like me, where we
But
stay completely out of the medical system, like
yep,
none of these for any of our kids of any kind. Very like, I don't think their kids have really gone to very many like westernized doctors, all that kind of
good.
stuff, clean food.
Yep.
And so they didn't put him on the medication, and I'm just so grateful, because he too, we had this conversation the other day at my
Yeah.
niece's birthday party, because he's very connected to our Native American side, like very, very connected to.
Yes.
And I truly believe that he connects with different spirits, and just maybe hasn't been able to explore that too much, but we were able to talk about like star family, and
Yes.
he's very into the like mystical creatures is a very big passion of his, and
That's
he'll
so
draw
interesting.
them,
Perfect.
right. And it's just like, you just think of like that all that gets stifled for so many
Yes,
kids.
but like think about it. Like in another lifetime, that probably was their real life. And then like all of a sudden they're here and they're like, what do you mean I can't talk? What do you what? What?
Yeah.
Like it's pretend? No, it's not. Like,
Not.
no, it's
No,
not.
I was talking with him about fairies and Bigfoot at, a SETI farm. I
Yes,
introduced him to like James Gilland, and I'm like, here, look,
yes.
here's his YouTube channel. I think you'd really like it. And he was like, okay.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, because they tried to tell my parents like that I was that.
right.
And my mom was like, no, she's not. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like my brain can literally do 9,000 things at once, but I've always been that way. And I'm so thankful that they never did that to me. So I'm thrilled
Yeah.
about that. And that my mom never did that. I applaud her so much.
Yes, for sure. I agree. And that's, another reason why, probably why you chose them, right? Like
Yeah.
you were able to like fully be able to, even though you weren't
Yeah.
able to talk about it, you were able to still experience all that, because she knew, by telling you not to talk about, that was her protecting you, because she
Yes, it
knew
really
what the
was. Yep.
outside world was
Yeah. Like
like.
I could talk about it with her.
Yeah.
And my mom, for whatever reason, she was very gifted, but she wouldn't own it so much. She
Yeah.
would just say something would happen and it would happen, and everybody would just be like, oh, that's coincidence. And I'd be like fascinated by it. I'm like, how'd you do that?
Oh, I just love that.
And we'd read the Star and Inquirer because my mom loved him.
Yeah,
It was news. I loved it.
I love it. You talk about that too, because my kids and I will be at the grocery store sometimes, and they've got all the different magazines.
Yes.
I'm like, the only one worth looking at is the Inquirer. I'm like, if you're gonna look at any of them, Inquirer.
Yes. Yes. And then
Yeah.
like when the whole thing came out of nowhere with JFK Jr. and a
Yeah.
plane crash, I was like, this is super weird. And like
Mm-hmm.
I was over at my mom's reading because she had a subscription. We're just looking at each other laughing. Thank God my husband knows it. Like he's like, what? I'm like, oh no, no,
No,
just no, just no,
no. Yeah.
no. And my dad would be like, but it's printed there. And I'm like, go away. I love you.
Yeah.
Just no.
Oh, that was actually my kids when how do I get Lizzie, when Lizzie passed
Yes.
away, was
Yes.
announced.
Yes.
And they were like telling people, they're like, she's been gone for like
Like
for
years.
years.
Yes.
And then even on the weekend again, it was great conversations at this birthday party. Um, my daughter said something about, I forget what the conversation was, and she said something about, we were talking about negative ETs and how they're gone now from,
Yes.
they've been, and she was like, grays and reptilians, and then the one of the
I
other
love
boys
that.
there,
I
he's
love
like,
that.
I know, and he was like, oh, you mean like, he said her actual name, but he was
Mhm.
like Lizzie, and then he said like a Hollywood star as well, and
Yeah.
he was like, I can't believe they're having this kind of conversation. This is awesome.
I love that. I love it.
And there
Love
was
it.
like adults there too. I can only imagine what
Yeah, but that would be like me and my mom, but then if someone came over for coffee or whatnot, like I'd have to shut up.
right.
So
Yeah.
we just put it away, and she'd just be like, don't tell anybody what you do, especially when I
Right.
went to high school, because I was the only one who wanted to go to Catholic high school
Oh,
because
okay.
I didn't want to swim. Not because I'm religious. No, I got over the religion thing at like 12. Like we had to go every Sunday and man, like it, and I was just like, so I'd come home and I'd be like, so why? So why do we got to sit, stand, sit, kneel, stand? Why do we got to do this? Why is this sin okay? Why does it get forgiven?
Mm-hmm.
No one could explain it.
Nope.
And I'm like, why is it okay that like the priest is like literally doing the guitar player? Explain
Mm-hmm.
this to me. Explain it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And no one could. So I'm like, well, all right. So like at 16, I was just like, so I'm done with that.
Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah, but I was still in high school. So we had to a little bit, but like literally I would just go to the nurse's office and be like, oh, I was so close with our nurse because I would skip so many classes ever. I managed to pass with like almost an 8 average though. So I never brought a book anywhere. Teachers would get so mad. They're like, where are your books? I'm like, behind me. Because
Yeah.
whoever would sit behind me would share their book at the time. I'm like, I don't want to carry books all over
Yeah.
school. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
So
You
do you
know?
feel that you've had like quite a few lives
Oh my God, yes.
on like on Earth here? Yeah.
I've been here since the beginning.
Mm,
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I love that. And so now as an adult, because you on your, I love your YouTube so much. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
that I found you.
Thank
And
you.
you channel and you'll do readings.
Yeah.
What is that like for you? Like, because I know going on YouTube was a big thing. You were
Oh my
like,
God, it was such a big thing because they were pushing so hard. They're like, but get out there. And I'm like, but no. They're like, so YouTube. I like it. I like it a lot. I love our community. I love how our communities all know each other.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've noticed on your lives, like I could just sit there and read the live and they're all just talking back and forth. I love that.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. It's the
I love
best.
it.
It's the community that we're building, right? And that
Yes.
was a hump that I had to get over. For one, like going on YouTube and putting
Yep.
yourself out there. But just the whole, what we know about AI and all of
Yes.
that. And I had to really like push myself through that because I really felt that I was being called to go on YouTube as well. And I mean, I do not regret it one bit because the amount of people that I've been able to connect with, the community that we're
Yep.
being able to build it's priceless. Like,
It is. And when I first got on, AI was a big thing, but I could almost always sense it. Some people I can still sense it with a little bit, but they're mostly, it's just a lower frequency. It's not
right.
feeding.
Right. Yeah. And the protection, right? Like you talk about the
Yes.
bubble protection, and that's one thing that it's like always protection,
I
cleansing.
do it. I do it to myself. I do it to the house. I do it to the cat. I do it to the husband. I'm just like, I walk around just oddly protecting people. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're protected, you know?
Yeah. Especially, I feel like as more and more is being exposed, all this stuff, it's like
Yeah.
it's so much more important to be, protecting and cleansing and clearing,
Yes. And grounding and yeah.
grounding.
And yeah. Yeah. Like I learned about taking salt baths when I was like 5.
Oh, wow.
Well, my mom said it would be relaxing.
Yeah.
Then she told me the real reason.
Yeah.
So I
It
was
is
like,
relaxing, but
fantastic.
there's also a reason why.
Yeah, there is, but her reason was like because she watched The Exorcist. That was
Mm,
her reason. So it took me quite a
okay.
few years because I was like, maybe like 5, 6.
Yeah.
When I finally saw The Exorcist, I'm like, holy shit. Okay.
Oh.
And she would, she would start to feed into the negative a little bit. And then my dad got her really into the medical stuff and the school stuff. Like he ran for the Board of Education, and my
Okay.
mom started to be on the board. And then it was weird.
Yeah. The
Yeah, it was really
whirlwind.
weird because she really downplayed a lot of her gifts just to make him
Right.
happy, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Typical housewife. So yeah,
Yeah. Now you are with the love of your life.
yeah.
And so is he kind of open to things as well?
Oh
Not
dear
that
God,
I'm
yes.
not going to go too into your guys' relationship because that's
No,
sacred,
he's
but
totally, yes,
he is
totally.
okay.
I met his mother in a dream the day that I met him. She came to me and literally sat in a chair and talked and told me everything. You want to talk an awkward conversation? Because I had just met him and I knew we just instantly knew we loved each other. I told him, so hey, yeah, hi, it's me. So
You're
yeah,
like,
like let's go outside. Hey, I know that you told me that your mom died when you were 14, but is this at all possible? Went through the whole thing. He was like, holy shit. I'm like, so it's possible. He's like, how did you know? I'm like, she came to me and he's like, holy crap, that's amazing.
wow.
Which was what I needed to hear because I was like, okay, he's either going to love me or he's really going to run right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I love that. Oh,
Yeah. And she's been with me. Like, if there's something big going on, I'll know it. And when his sister passed away, she literally is my great nephew. That's her daughter. It's her
yep.
youngest daughter's first baby. It literally was born on the day she died.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw his eyes and I was like, welcome back. This is exciting.
Yeah. Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. You're in for a ride. I didn't know
Yeah.
anything else was happening then. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that cycle of life, hey. I love, I mean,
Yes. But
my
I question my mom on it all the time when we were young because I'm like, how you can't tell me that millions of people just like, that's it. Just
yeah,
no. I'm like, you can't
no.
tell me that. I don't buy it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, there was things because I grew up Catholic and
yep,
then I went to like I became kind of a born again Christian later in life.
yep,
But there were so many things that I just didn't resonate with and question, like you said,
yep.
they could never give me an answer for. But reincarnation for me was always like I never believed in like the whole like heaven and hell, you either go to one or the
Yeah,
other.
I didn't either. And my mom was like very adamant that there was. And I'm just like, I think it's a fear factor thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I thought that my mom, the one time I thought, man, I thought I was going to get smacked for saying that. But I was just like, way to
Yeah.
instill fear in a whole generation of kids,
Well,
I'm like, it's
that's
that.
exactly it, right? Is if you think of like that fear that ripples through. I think of
Oh,
it like sitting in church when I went to like the Catholic church and that,
yeah,
you talk about the up and down, all this. And it's like there was so much that energy that I felt in there was
it's
fear.
so
It was
dark.
that fear
It's
energy.
fear and they keep you there. And then the confessional, like, why
Mm-hmm.
do I have to go make my first communion at like 8 years old? What do you really have to confess? That you stole a nickel from your brother? And like, oh, go say 20 Hail Marys and you're fine. I'm like, what? No, that's not how
Yeah,
any of this works. I was like, no, it's just wrong.
yeah.
So then I
And
started going to my dad's church because he was Methodist. And I'm like, and that was wrong too.
yeah.
Then my husband was agnostic because his mom passed away and he was born Baptist, but never really practiced. And his dad was Catholic. We moved to Georgia. Did he not get baptized Southern Baptist?
Right. Yeah. Well, see, and that was so when I was like a born again, I always
Yep.
said I called myself like a bohemian Christian because I didn't fit
Yes.
into their box.
And that's kind of what my husband was too. Because then when we moved home, he really didn't keep up with it. I'm like, so just call it a phase and hey, it
Yeah.
made me feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was I think it a little bit for my mom didn't quite understand it because it
Yeah.
was a Baptist church and it was
Yep.
like, it was all of a sudden I was like wanting to go to church and I was
Right.
like wanting to learn. But it was the worship team, the worship
Yes.
music and all that. And
Yep.
that's what helped start my connection to source, to really start
Correct.
understanding this connection. And then that's where I had met my girl's dad, who I was married
Yeah.
to. And then when that didn't work out and I left him, it's kind of like, oh, well, then the whole church kind of turns their back on you because
Right. And I'm like, why would they? Yeah, that's not being charitable.
no, no. So I kind of walked away from the church as well after that because I was like, what, like everybody just turned their back on me. And like
Right.
it was kind of this thing of like, should I be like unhappy and have this like household for my children where we're fighting all the time?
No,
Like,
no.
no, like, no, not at all. Um, so I did walk away and I walked away like quite a bit. And then when I started finding my connect, like my true connection
Yep.
to source and realizing that it's inside of me, it's always been inside of me, not
Yeah.
having to go outward. And then working with my angel guides and my
Yep.
guardian angels, like
Yep.
that to me was, I mean, now I feel like I'm living a whole new life.
Well, you are. You are. And it's fantastic. Like I've always known like that I had a direct source to God. And I don't know. And I used to argue with my mom about this too. I'm like, I don't need to pray to 25 saints to get
Yep.
to him.
Mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm,
the Baptist religion is totally different. Like you can talk directly to God.
mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, and my husband would be like, well, who are you praying to? And I'm like, God,
Yeah,
that's who I
yeah,
consider source. I'm like, I'm good. I got a straight connection. We're super good. We're super
yeah.
good.
Yeah, and it is so like empowering when you realize that, and then you start to
Yes.
realize like it just starts opening up all the things now of how truly powerful we are and how much has
Yes.
been hidden from us.
Yes.
And yeah, that's definitely what I try to like teach my kids of like it's inside of you. It's
It is. And ask them, I don't know how to phrase this, but like they're really pushing me to have you teach your kids, like tell them to remember their higher self because they'll remember how to heal. They'll remember how to heal.
yeah, I've been actually that you bring that up because last week was really hard in our household. We were
Okay.
ascension symptoms were like hitting us all
Okay.
very hard.
Okay.
And that was the first, I mean, like my kids do Reiki. They do
Yeah.
Reiki on themselves. So I have been working on that, but this was the first time with my son who's 4.
Yep.
I taught him to call upon his angels.
Yes.
And it's like it's this is so important. Like I was just like,
It,
I
it,
can't believe I haven't done this before, but
no, but seriously, that's what he needs to do. They're like, no, have him call upon us because we can help guide him through. And he's 4 and he's like the perfect age
mhm.
because you have to have guidance to get through this life. I
Yeah.
don't know who said it was going to be easy. And I joke about this on my channel, but I swear to God, it really happened. Like I was going out the birth canal and they're like, an amnesia. I'm like, what?
That's the
Like
cry
this,
I feel like when
yeah,
babies
it
do.
probably is the cry. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, no, wait,
Yeah,
hello,
what is
hi.
this? Wait, this isn't what I signed up for.
Right? I was like, that's still to this day, I can still remember that. And I'm like, why am I remembering that? But that's so weird.
Oh, that's so amazing that you can remember that.
It's very weird that I remember it though. And I'm like, I don't know why. It's
Yeah.
always stuck with me. And I'm like, this is weird. And I don't talk about it with a lot of people. Now I do. It's like, hey,
Mhm.
we're on YouTube. But.
Yeah. I love it though. Like I'm so like not about like small talk anymore. I'm like, this is
Right,
the stuff I want to talk about. And
right, right. And like when we have to go out in 3D world, it's so hard because like no one's on
hmm
I guess level is the only way I can say it because we're
yeah,
just resonating at different
yeah,
frequencies. And it's like I got to bring myself so down. I don't even want to.
I know.
Like my
I
family
agree.
writing me about the holidays, and I'm like, I don't know if they're even going to take place.
I know. Yeah.
Let, let's just start there.
Wait and see what happens.
Yeah. My dad's like, well, we should plan this. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. We could do it like in 5 minutes if we have to. We're good. We're good.
Exactly.
I don't want to.
I know. I feel that. I feel that. And you know what? It's good for people to hear this too, because it's okay to be there. Like as especially right now with
Yep.
this full moon lunar eclipse, like it's a lot of like people are letting go of things. There you could have people just walking out of your life or different places that you just cannot go to anymore because
Right.
that frequency and that energy just it's not it's so where you used to be, right? And it's
Right.
okay. It's okay to like
Yeah.
move on from those things or people and to
And
not
it's
beat yourself up over it.
yeah, and it's hard because it's family, but in a way it's kind of easier because it's family because you're just like they know me,
Right.
and they know that I'm home alone all the time anyways, but they're like, oh, but Matt's retired now. And I'm like, yeah, we want to be home. So we're
Mhm.
good. We're good. We don't want to go to lunch. We're good. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah. You can be in your safe
Yes.
bubble of like,
Yes. I'm like, our bubble of the house. We're super
yep.
good. Like I'll go outside. Then we got like one neighbor. Our neighbors are very nice, but there's one I'm just like, no. I literally, when I met her, this was like probably the first time I ever did it vocally.
Mm.
I was like, no. And I just
Yeah.
walked away. I left my poor husband and talked to her. He's like, what the hell is that about? I'm like, no, we're never
Yeah.
going to get along. No, no, no. Don't want anything to do with that energy. None, not as if they are so in the program.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like the daughter is turning into a boy on the program. I'm
Oh.
like, "Mm."
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh. And it like you could feel it like if I get close to that side, I'm like, I gotta go back. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like I'm
Hmm.
good. I've tested enough today. I'm super
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. You're like, "Oh, I don't need to go there."
Yeah.
And that's so good for people to hear about boundaries, right? Because
Yes.
boundaries is another huge one that like it's okay to say no.
And
It's
it's so
really
hard,
okay. It is hard. It is
especially
very
as a
hard.
middle child, because I
Yeah.
do a lot to keep the peace and I'll
Right.
try to keep everyone happy and to learn to say no. And they'll be like, why? Because my mother, because I said so.
Yeah, because I said
I don't want to.
yeah, but knowing your boundaries, right? And knowing like, you know what? I don't want to be in that frequency. I don't want to be around that energy. And that's okay. That's
Yep.
okay to not want to be around any of that.
Yes.
And don't feel bad about it, right?
Right.
Like because I feel like society again is like, oh my goodness, when you think about like, I remember being a child and it's like you had to like give hugs and kisses to all of your family members. Oh, my computer's about to die.
That
All
would
of
be
your
bad.
family
Okay.
members, like
Yes.
all these different people, and it's um, like
No.
that's kind of traumatizing for kids.
It is. My Grammy was the only one that never made us do that. But my mom always wanted us to do that. And I was like, there were certain ones I was just like, no. And I
Mhm.
literally would do it. I had one aunt, I don't even remember what her name was, but she literally was like that aunt that had moles all over. She couldn't help it. She was
Yeah.
85, but no, she was just not a good person. She was not a
Hmm.
good person. I was like, no. And my
Yeah.
mom would be like, no, but we're like at a funeral for so and so. And I'm like, fantastic. No.
You're like, no.
Hello. Hi. Over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like, I mean, my family in general, like we're loud, we're vocal, and we are very like huggy and lovable. So it's just how we
Yes.
are. So I'm not saying anything against my mom, but when I would go back home to Albuquerque, because we would go there every summer,
Yep.
and it would be like I would meet people for the first time, and it's like, go give them a hug and kiss. And I just remember being like, it's okay. I don't know these people, but like, and it's not like, I don't really remember anybody feeling like, that I really didn't want to, but
Like
I just remember
creepy.
it
Yeah.
kind of just being like, I don't know this person. Like, I
Right.
get that they're my auntie or my uncle or my cousin.
Right. Like, can I just say hi first? And then if I feel it later, I'll hug them goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, let me
And I
have
think,
5 words. Yeah.
yeah, but that was a big thing about like that era of like you
Yes.
kind of had to like just or sit on like, your uncle's lap and stuff. It's like,
Yeah. I'm fortunate because I didn't have to do that, which was
good.
fantastic, which was
Yes,
great. But
good.
I'm just like, yeah. But like, even think about Santa Claus.
Oh
I'm
my
just
gosh.
saying. And those
Hmm.
poor kids, like, I used to think it was funny back in 3D world, because it makes great pictures. But I'm like, oh my God, that poor kid's traumatized.
Crying, like, oh yeah, the
Like,
amount of
get them off the kid's lap
get
and
them
get them
off.
off.
There's a reason why these kids are feeling because kids feel
Yes.
things way more than we do
Oh
because
my
they're
God, yes.
they're not
Yes.
in yeah, they're way more connected to
But
source still.
I've known that about Disney World since I was 5.
Hmm.
Taught
You
at
know
home.
what? A story on that. So my dad did take us there when
Mhm.
we were young to Disneyland, I think it was in California.
California. Yep.
And I used to, okay, so growing up, all the only memory I have like some memories of it, but my main memory is that I was on this like leash thing. It
Oh,
was
all
just like
right.
on my
Child
back
lead. Yep.
and it connected to his wrist.
Yep.
And I remember because I was big into baby wearing, like I did attachment parenting with my kids. So I was
Yes.
like, why didn't he put me in a baby carrier or something? He
Right.
put me on a leash. but now, not, I mean, I don't think my dad doesn't know. He's definitely, like you said,
Right.
he's into all of everything.
Yep.
He's drinking the Kool-Aid. I
Yep.
love him, but he's drinking the Kool-Aid.
I know that's my
He did,
dad.
yeah. So he didn't know, but I feel like there was something protecting me that he put me on this leash, and now I can look at it and be like, thank God he put me
Thank
on
God,
that leash,
right?
because who knows? Like
Right.
the
It,
things
it
we know.
now, yeah. Like we went when I was 5. So God, that was in the early 70s, and it had just opened in Florida.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was all into Cinderella. Like
Mhm.
I thought, like, oh, princess, let's go see the castle. So we get to the park, and I'm like, okay, this is great. Like my mom was fascinated by the presidential thing, and I'm like, hello, I would like to go to the castle.
Yeah.
It was a bathroom. It was freaking public bathrooms with phones.
Mm.
I'm like, no, 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 no. And the creepiest people in that castle just hanging out because it was like a cut through the park. I'm like, we hit the castle. Mom's like, I've never seen your face be so crushed. I'm like, you never felt
Oh,
that energy till you step foot in there.
in that. Yep. Yeah, I don't remember enjoying Disneyland. Like I actually remember being traumatized from the Small World,
Oh my
like
God, I hate that
the
ride. And my
water
mom
thing.
loved it. I hated that ride. Every year we'd have to go on it. We went to Florida every freaking year till we were like 15. And my older brother and I spoke up and we're like, we're not going to Disney
Not
World.
go-
We're going to freaking Sea World. We're going to go
Yeah,
watch animals be abused. Come on.
I know. I
I
know.
got to Sea World and like everybody's like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And here's me, like I'm literally crying.
Oh yeah.
Like, you want to go in the aquarium? I'm like, absolutely not. No, get me
No,
out of this park. Dear
I
God.
know. It's so sad. I know my mom was talking about wanting to take my girls to like a zoo next summer, and I'm like, I'm not taking them to a zoo, and I really don't want you taking them to a zoo. Like, I don't want them to like witness animals like in
No,
cages.
like the African lion safari outside of Toronto was actually really nice.
Okay.
I went there when I was like 19. So I was
Okay.
older and we knew just don't drive your own car. Dear God, take the bus because the animals really will come up and just sit. They're animals and they let them roam free, which I think is fantastic. But like, be
Yeah.
smart about it, people. My dad
Right.
was so upset that the car got sat on.
Well,
Why are you driving your own car?
yeah.
They're perfectly good buses. You can see just as
They're
well.
an animal. What do you expect? You're like going into their territory.
Yeah, and he'd open his windows to try and feed the animal. I'm like, Dad, what the hell are you doing? There's signs all over the place saying don't feed the animals. I'm like, oh dear God, get me out. But it wasn't very nice.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, but at least you could see acres and acres of land and they just let them be. And outside of the traffic, which the animals are used to, and everybody just
Right.
stops.
Yeah. And that was in Calgary, you said, or
Outside of Toronto.
oh,
It's right,
Toronto?
yeah, it's like an hour north of Toronto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. See,
That and
something like that I would be more open to.
yeah, an amusement park, Wonderland's fantastic up there. I love
Mhm.
Wonderland. Hubby and I
Hey,
were there all the time, loved it.
I heard you talking, was it yesterday in your video? You loved rides as a kid,
Oh
didn't
my
you?
God, I loved amusement parks. Yeah, the hubby and I were in amusement park fiends until we were like in our 30s. And then we went on the roller coaster again and we both got off and we were like, what the actual hell is
Oh,
out? Like, we can't do this anymore.
I've
The
never
whole
been able
equilibrium was
to
off. I'm like, I don't know what happened.
do it.
We're old now.
I've never been able to do it. Like I've never, the rides have always been really hard for me. Um, and even just like we have exhibitions that come here every year,
Mhm.
and those two, like
Oh, those, yeah.
the energy around those things, like I think I just instinctively knew, and like I've never taken my kids because I'm just like, mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
The only time we ever had that, my Grammy's little town had what they called field day and they would bring in the carnivals. But like my grandparents were like the postmaster of the town and stuff. So I've always just known I was protected.
Yeah.
So I have that going for me. But no, rides never bugged me. And that roundup ride, thank God, because it's last weekend. If I didn't have the roundup ride, I would have been like face first.
Yeah.
I was so dizzy, the ascension symptoms were going, the head was spinning, and I'm like, my
Mm.
poor husband's like, what's happening? He's like, and you're vibrating. I'm like, fantastic. I'm on the roundup ride. Just let me
You're
give me like 5 minutes. I'm like on the roundup, and the air is just throwing me back, and I'm just like whirling at 60 miles an hour. And I'm super good and having a good time. I'm 12.
yeah. Let me just be here for a second. It's the only way I can get through this.
He's like, and when it happened to him later that night, he's like, oh my God, you're oddly right. He's like, I like the idea of the roundup.
Yeah, it
Right?
probably just helped you to like go through that, hey?
Yeah, because I'm like, just let me pretend I'm on the roundup ride because this is super fun, super
Yeah.
fun.
And that's the going with the flow of all this, right? Like all of
Yeah,
these energies, everything that's going on is really to help us get into our, what we came here to be, our soul essence, our soul journey. And it's not always easy.
oh my God, no. And right now, it's like we're feeling the growing pains, people.
So much.
Oh my God.
So
And
much.
the little, and I feel bad for your little ones because like they came here pre-programmed for all of this and it's like hitting them full force.
Oh
And they
yeah.
haven't had like years of warning. Like I've had decades of warning that this was coming.
Yeah, my little guy has been feeling it the most. Like he's just not himself, right?
I
Or just
know
like
he's super sensitive. He's super
very,
sensitive. Oh, I love him.
very sensitive. Yeah.
Oh,
He,
that's
he's
adorable.
actually started doing this. He tones. He does this toning. He just started one day where he's like he'll do like
That's
he'll do all
fantastic.
different types of tones. So actually last night it was like he was having trouble sleeping and problem with his nose. So
Yep.
we were doing some Reiki on his nose and I just said, let's do some toning. So we did some toning and then he fell asleep.
I love that. Like my mom would always hum.
Mm,
And lately I've taken to humming.
yeah. Oh, he's
Like,
doing
and
it.
I don't know why I'm doing that when I'm doing
Yeah.
readings. I'm like, I just start humming. I'm like, excuse me while I hum. Apparently I'm humming.
Yeah. He's doing
But
it right now.
that's fantastic. He needs singing bowls. He would probably love singing bowls.
Yes, I have some singing bowls and he loves to play with them. So
Yeah.
I've been teaching him to like, because sometimes he'll get frustrated because if
Yes.
he's not holding them right, then it won't make the noise. So
Me.
his little
Yeah.
hands will be trying to hold it and it's not making the noise. And
Yep.
so he loves that. And I've got a bell because I'll use a bell in
Yep.
my energy clearing.
Good.
And he loves the bell too. So I just feel so blessed to, that these children picked me because
I
I
was
learned
just gonna say
so
that
much
they picked
from
you on
them.
purpose. They
Yeah,
picked you on purpose.
it
Oh,
really is such a blessing because I learn from them all the time. We talked the last time when I was on your channel about
yeah.
like daughter's drawings and
Yeah.
I wanted to grab those. I don't know if Nevaeh, your drawings. I don't know if she's got them, but just
Yeah.
that's because to me, like the whole ET world and our star family is newer to me, right? I haven't really had a whole lot of experience with it. So I get to experience things through like other people and tap into things now. Like I've now
Yeah.
had experience with some of my star family. I've got like a really big lion from Sirius that is one of my like protectors and spirit guides. And then I have an Palladian.
Okay. I was like,
A
Octarian
Palladian.
would be kind of weird, but all
Yeah,
right.
no, a Palladian. He's got like long blonde hair and
Mhm.
like the blue suit.
Nice.
And like
Nice.
it's so cool. But yeah, she draws these amazing drawings of these like off-world beings, and I'm just like, whoa.
I think that's fascinating. I love it when kids do that. And like, yeah, I'm like, no, unicorns are real and fairies are real. Like a
Yep,
different dimension, different timeline. And I used
exactly.
to like say that when I was young. My mom's like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Much like probably my channel does, because I'm like, it's too hard to explain timeline we need to people.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So just go with me. When I say that there were 15, we're down to 3 and one's at the side. That's super good. We're doing super good. We're right on path. All right. But I'm like,
Just go with it.
it's the hardest thing ever to explain to people. And
Right.
thank God my mom kind of understood it, but she was even awed by it sometimes. She's like, what the hell are you talking about? Because I would just wake up and I'd be like, so last night when we were here, and she's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what? And I'd be like, never mind, disregard. It's
Yeah.
not this lifetime. We're good.
Yeah. I feel like there's some things that that are so new to me that I'm hearing people say, but I'm just resonating with it. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm just gonna go with it because something inside of me is really being like, even though my like critical mind is not wrapping my head around it,
Don't use
my
your critical
soul,
mind.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. My soul is like, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, and you feel it. And that's why I tell people like take who resonates because some people are like, but they don't resonate with me anymore. I'm like, then stop listening to them.
stop listening to them. And
Yeah, and they're
even
like, but
like,
and then they feel bad, and I'm like, why are you going to feel bad? But like, don't feel bad. Like, you got to go with who resonates with you.
yeah, and there's even people that I listen, I only take bits and pieces of what they say
Yes,
because there's some of it that just doesn't resonate with me. And again, that's okay, people. Like it's
yes,
okay.
yes. I mean, yeah, take what resonates with you. And I know people get so sick of hearing that for an answer, but like, our life isn't here to give you an answer. We're trying to
Mhm.
guide you the best we can, but like, I don't have all the answers.
Right. And that's where it's also like we can each be like we're all on our own path. So like
Yes,
something may resonate with you and not with somebody else, but doesn't mean that one of you is wrong and one of you is right.
correct.
And that's where again, I mean, especially throughout these 3 years where everybody's meant to do and believe all the
Yes.
same thing, that's where it's like getting back to that, like, no, like
Oh, you believe
we've
what you need
all,
to believe. Like, we can have a common goal, but you can also have your individual goals.
exactly, and how you get to that, right? Like
Yep.
I know sometimes people it's like, they want to know like how I came to things or how I learned things, and it's
Yeah.
like you really got to do that on your own. Like I can't do that for you. Like I can
No.
share things with you, but it doesn't mean you're going to come to the same realization that I have. And I
Right.
even
You could
change.
totally come to something different and be like, what the hell are you
Yeah,
talking about? Right.
exactly. And there's times where I'm like, a month later I might be like, "Oh, I'm actually
Yeah.
not thinking that anymore. I'm kind of thinking this now."
Right. Right. And that's normal. It's just like we're all growing. We're all growing.
Mhm.
And it's very hard with me being a medium. I really didn't realize I was as much of a medium as I was till I started the YouTube channel because people will just come through with the most random of things. So I'm like, and I love it. And I love to connect people like that. But I'm like, they also don't have all the answers. They have no idea.
Right. And I love that you like, I mean, I'm sure everybody on my channel already knows who you are, but if they haven't, definitely, like I said, I'm going to put your links below
Thank you.
because your lives, I don't know how you do it. Like you have so many people asking you, and you're also trying to keep up with the chat, which is not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not easy, but I don't know. They always tell me like, and it sounds so weird, but like I was made for a time such as this. And I know it's
Sure.
Bible verse, but I'm like, for real.
Sure. You totally, like, I don't question that one bit.
Yeah, when it gets to be too much, and not even too much, but like right now, a lot of stuff's offline to me. Like it's
Mhm.
above so I say it's above my pay grade because they're literally telling me like, oh, it's above your pay grade.
And that's what I love about you. Like, I love that you will say that. And I love that you'll remind people that they know the answer.
Oh, because they do. Because,
Yeah.
well, like their loved ones are telling me. Plus, I already know that they know the answer. And I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
go with what's resonating with you. Like, don't,
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
I think,
God. I'm not like, I can't make things happen for you.
yeah. And it's truly trying to get us back into the trusting our internal compass, our higher self,
Correct.
opposed to the like what we've always been taught is to go outside of ourselves, go outside,
Right.
and you do it in such a beautiful way of like, that you're not somebody's guru. You're not, you're just you are a mediumship. You
Yeah.
have a gift, but you'll say like that's above my pay grade or that's
Yeah.
something you already know. And I really I hold so much like value for you for doing that because some people won't do that. And then it's like
They
it's
have
kind of,
to.
you have to, because then otherwise people aren't trusting themselves, they're not doing that inner work, and they're still just relying on somebody outside of them.
Exactly. And like you can't do that. Like I can't do your work for you.
Yeah.
And your loved ones on the other side can't do the work for you either. I mean, they can help guide you along if you got a question here or there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
other than that, like that's all yeah. And you need boundaries. I had a friend remind me of that after the channel blew up. We used
Mm.
to have lives with like 2,000 people in there. Holy crap.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was super fun. And then a friend was just like, make sure you take time for like you, like that you turn off. And it's super hard sometimes to turn off.
Hmm.
After those lives, like I'll sit up here an extra hour. My poor husband will be texting. He's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Give me a minute."
I need to, yeah.
Like everybody's got to go home. Like get out. Like just get out
Sure.
and let me just center again and be myself. You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
because it's a
Yeah.
lot of energy. There's so much swirling energy. Oh,
I love it.
and it's just as bad in the astral. Not bad, but like it's just as much energy in the astral. So it's like you don't get a break from it either way. Sleeping, awake. You're like, okay, fantastic. Here we are.
Um, I love that. And do you also offer, like, if people wanted to book with you, is that
Oh
something that
yeah.
you offer?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I do private readings a few days a week. I don't know what my schedule is right.
Okay. So yeah, we'll put that all below, and then you
Yeah,
have a Patreon.
www.glimpsingbeyond.com. You can book
Okay.
appointments there. You can buy the t-shirts there.
Love it. And then your
Yeah.
Patreon.
Yep. And I have my Patreon too. I have a few openings left. Yeah, I think I do have a few openings. Like, yeah,
There you go, people.
yeah. Well, the one tier I have, I think there's 2 openings left. That's my
Okay.
top tier, but they do one-on-one appointments with me every month, which is nice in
Okay.
there. And we do lives just for us. It's
Sweet.
a lot easier when you have like me and 15 people.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a
Yeah.
lot of fun and I do newsletters and stuff in there. It's a good time.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, I'll make sure I have that all in the
Thank
description
you.
below. Is there anything that you would like to share, like anything that would like to come through as a parting, not to put you on the spot, sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm just like sitting here. I'm like, hmm. Well, everything's going to be fine. We've already won. All right. Always remember that no matter what happens from here to the end of the year, because I still see it being wrapped up by the end of the year. Go with that.
Go with that. The flow, right?
Yep. Just flow and talk to God. Pray. Always pray to God. I'm
Beautiful.
sorry, my mother just flies out of my mouth every time I say that. She's like, always pray. And I'm like, yes, mom, pray. Always pray. Because it's good. It's great meditation. You
Totally
put your
is.
intention.
Mhm. Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much,
You're
Mary.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank
Um,
you for having me on. I appreciate it.
oh yes, I'm so honored to have you on. It's so fun to chat with you again. And we're actually gonna be doing a round table
Yes,
next
we
week,
are
right?
next week. Yep. Yep. Stay tuned, you guys.
Yeah, stay tuned. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah,
So
we'll have a
thank you
good time.
yeah, love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Mary. This
Thank
has
you.
been absolutely amazing. Like I said, people, all the contact info will be below. Definitely head over, give Mary a subscribe, put on the little notification because, like I said, her lives are the absolute best. I mean, just look at her energy. So thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Sending you all so much love and light and many blessings and peace through this.
Tumultuous times.
Yeah,
We're fine, you guys. We're good.
we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got this.
We got this.
We got this. Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so
Yep.
much.
Bye.
Okay.